This episode explores sensitive historical topics, including violence and racist ideology, in order to examine the lasting impact of systemic racism in the American prison system. We strongly condemn racism and discrimination in all forms. Seth Ferranti here, your guide through the dark corners of the criminal underworld. As an outlaw filmmaker, author, and journalist, I've delved deep into the minds of gangsters, drug lords, and prison gangs. But my journey doesn't stop there. Let me take you on a thrilling ride as we explore the hidden stories and untold truths that lurk behind the prison walls.
No prison is free of danger, but few outsiders can comprehend the level of violence that prevails in prison because of the prison gangs. In this episode, we're going to take a rare glimpse into the dark and bloody world where the most violent criminals have fashioned their own rules for living and dying. The Aryan Brotherhood formed at San Quenton Prison in the California Department of Corrections in 1967 to protect white convicts from the predatory gangs that were taking root in the system, like the Black Guerrilla Family, La Nuestra Familia, and the Mexican Mafia. It was a volatile time in the United States, and this volatility was amplified 100 times over in the netherworld of chaos and violence, where it was go hard or check into the hole like a punk.
It's like the black area over there, the Norteño area over there, the white area over here, Indians over there.
What really got them originated was the white boys had to come together for protection purposes. They formed to take care of the whites in the California system because of the black prison gangs. It was a way for them to make money, a protection racket. The white supremacist group, which later adopted the moniker The Brand due to the shamrock or cloverleaf tattoo they used to signify membership, was made up mostly of prisoners with Irish, Nordic, and German backgrounds. Convicts from 1950s biker gangs like the Diamond Tooth and Bluebirds formed the crux of the newly formed organization. The inmates consolidated under a white supremacist banner to watch each other's backs, show unity, and handle their business on the yard. Representing their people, they made sure that none of their own were exploited on their watch. By 1975, the gang was prospering inside the fences of the CDC, making power moves, calling shots, and holding it down.
You told us we were free. Well then, show us that we're free. You told us that there is justice, equality for all in this country. Well then, stick to your word and let us see the justice and equality for all.
The 1960s were a radical time in America, with the Black Power movement in full swing and minorities marching and demanding civil rights. Behind the walls of the CDC, where blacks, whites, and Mexicans were crammed together like sardines in a fishbowl, racial tensions were definitely over the top. George Jackson, credited with founding the Black Guerrilla Family, penned the renowned prison memoir Soledad Brother, detailing his experiences within the prison system. The book also describes instances of conflict within the prison, likely fueled by the experiences of systemic racism and oppression faced by many people of color. Jackson himself, as reflected in his writings, held strong critiques of the prison system and the broader societal structures that perpetuated these inequities. That mentality spilled over into the prisons, where race wars raged on unabated. The cauldron of hate created an atmosphere of tension at San Quentin, which ignited the disputes that evolved into an all-out melee that erupted throughout the whole California system. The end result was the rise of the Big Four prison gangs, divided along strict racial lines, which provided a measure of safety for their members. Another famous author, Edward Bunker, a white con who went Hollywood when he got out, wrote about life in the CDC in his book, The Miseducation of a Felon, which documented how the whites came together to hold their own. Along with the other race-based gangs, the Brand took their place in prison legend and lore as one of the most fierce and violent gangs to ever grace a California main line.
The Aryan Brotherhood wasn't for everyone. Exclusiveness was the rule. They were very selective in who they let join. Choosing prospective members took a great deal of scrutiny. You can't just sign up or join the brand. They had to pick you to join. For example, they had rules. Whites were not allowed to eat, drink, or even share a cigarette with anyone outside their race in prison. All interactions with others were to be kept on a need-only basis. Their philosophy was keep it white.
Blood in, blood out is what it's called. And usually it's law enforcement that coins that term. There is no oath taken, there's no loyalty oath. The idea was that if you wanted to become a member, that you had to get your bones.
The brand's motto was blood in, blood out, meaning once you spilled blood in order to join, the only way you were leaving was in a body bag. If you wanted to join, all you had to do was to brutally take down or at least inflict serious harm on an inmate of another gang. The AB offered an exclusive membership to only the most vicious, cunning, and loyal convicts, the elite of the white convicts. The guidelines for membership were strictly enforced. The Aryan Brotherhood existed as a brotherhood of soldiers on the front lines of the prison race wars. They conditioned their bodies, minds, and souls to go full blast at a moment's notice. With their thick bull necks, massive forearms, knit caps pulled low over their eyes, and walrus-like mustaches, they resemble Viking warriors or Old West outlaws, an image cultivated to install fear, necessary in the environment they found themselves in.